Howdy Goons, this is the 5th and final entry in the Game & Watch Silver series, so if you ended up enjoying one of these, then sub for the Gold series next, or check out the Big Edit where I'll have all of the Silver series edited together. The Silver series is capped off with Judge, a multiplayer versus game which goes on to inspire the versus machines that we'll see 4 years after the Silver series. Game & Watch Judge. Interestingly, Game & Watch Judge came in 2 different colors, a green version and a purple version. The green version has a bug with how score is kept, and the purple version fixes that. I'll explain that when I get into gameplay. But despite these 2 versions having a huge difference that affects the playability, both color versions have the same model numbers. So the only way to be able to distinguish the non-working one versus the working one is the purple color. Another interesting quirk is, thus far, all of the Japanese Game & Watches have used English to refer to the functions, including on the device itself. That's because in Japan, the use of English to refer to games and computers made them sound more computery and cool. It also makes things sound more modern. Judge appears to be the first to incorporate Japanese on the devices. The Game & Watch logo and game name are still in English, but the buttons hit and dodge are in hiragana and kanji. The top button says tataku, which means hit. Now, all the pictures I found of this one are small, and I can't read the second button all that well, but it looks like nigeru, which means to run away, or in this case, dodge. So that makes sense, that's probably what it is. We also have Game A, Game B, with Japanese below those that say one hito, and the kanji next to it I don't know, but one hito and two hito mean one person and two person, so I'm guessing it has something to do with the amount of players. But that's because the game has a versus game that you can play against another person. Time and reset continue to be in English. So the way this game works is there are 2 judges, you on the left and your opponent on the right. Above your head on the sign a number will show, then you have to press hit if your number is equal to or greater than your opponent. If you land a hit and you were supposed to, you'll get points. If you dodge and you were supposed to, you'll get 2 points. Game A is you versus a computer, and Game B is 2 human players. You'll both hold the device, with player 1 holding the left half and player 2 holding the right half. Now, the scoring issue that green has is that the player who dodges would only gain 1 point instead of 2, and the other player would receive the 2 points. This means that in the green version, players are being punished for being good at the game. This is a pretty bad bug that makes it kind of unplayable. Good thing that they fixed it, but regardless, the game sold poorly. Less than 250,000 units were sold. It's probably because this game isn't as self-explanatory when shown to people. When you show someone ball, they easily understand that you juggle. In Vermin, you obviously whack moles. Fire, you save people. And Flagman, well, I don't really think Flagman is self-explanatory either, but you just slap memory game on the box and people will get it. I tested this by asking someone if they could explain to me how these games worked by just looking at the system. So, how do you think this game is played?
I think you push the button left and right, and you catch the balls using A, I think.
Yeah, so, the game is about you catching the balls. You got that. How do you think you play this one?
You press the number of flag that he's holding up.
Yeah, that's one of the game modes. That's close enough. How do you think you play this one?
Go left and right and whack moles that are coming.
Yep, you got it. How do you think you play this one?
You move left and right and bounce the children falling out of the burning building onto the ambulance.
Yep, you got it. And how do you play this one? If it helps, these say hit and dodge on both sides.
Help at all? I don't know what.
So, you can't figure out how you play this?
No, what the fuck?
Just give me any idea that you think it could be.
Whack each other?
Kind of, that's part of it.
And whoever hit together the most wins?
No. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how it works. If your number is higher, you press hit. If your number is lower, you press dodge.
Oh.
Would you figure that out from looking at the box?
Absolutely not, no.
Okay, now what if I told you that the box does not tell you how to play that on either side of the box? Would you want to buy this game?
No. Mostly because it looks a little racist. because they're all black. That's just the limitations of the calculator thing. Okay, would you have wanted to play this one? No. Yeah, I love hitting moles on the head with hammers. No, I would not.
Okay, so you just wouldn't want to play Game & Watch games in general, but
no, these look awful.
My point still stands. You can't identify how to play Judge by just looking at it, and that's why it sold poorly. See what I mean? The average person isn't going to be able to tell how to play Judge based on the box. Smith even figured out Flagman, even though that one is a little harder to guess too. So if Nintendo didn't put how to play these on the box, how would you ever know to play this and whether you wanted to buy it? Of course it sold poorly. As for localization, I don't see any mention online of it being picked up by Migo/Timeout Games, which also probably impacted its sales. Retrofab, which is pretty good about showing alternate countries' boxes, doesn't show the American box here, so I'm just assuming it didn't come to the US. Gameplay-wise, this is not a fun game. It kinda sucks. Playing against the AI is hard because it's much faster than you. You'd have to play it for quite a while to get used to it. It's like a worse version of rock, paper, scissors, like they took Jonkin and added more steps to it. The only way to play this is with another human, and good luck getting them to try it. I imagine that experience going very much like when you try to get your friend to play your favorite fighting game with you, but you know all the tricks already and it's their first time. No one is coming out of this game without some bruises and hurt feelings. As for releases, out of the 4 Game & Watch galleries, it's only in the 3rd one as an unlockable for 20 stars. Pretty easy to get, and something cool about it is that you can link it up to another Game Boy and play against a friend in it. But you can't play it local on the same device, despite having enough buttons to do so. In GWG 3, it's just a reproduction, but there isn't anything they could do with this to make it a good remake. So I'm more happy that it's at least somewhat preserved. If you're hurting enough to play it, you can play GWG 3 through emulation or Switch Online, DSiWare, MAME, and Retrofab. The best version to play is the original or the Retrofab version. Unfortunately, because GWG 3 doesn't have local multiplayer on it, it can't be the best version. So the Game Boy reproduction just makes it the worst version of it because it's lacking features over the original. The original didn't need a link cable to play Versus, but on the Game Boy Color, I have to have 2 copies, 2 Game Boys, and a link cable. Come on, that sucks. In my opinion, this game isn't interesting enough to bother seeking it out. My Switch Online ran out, and I didn't bother renewing it immediately just so that I could play it. I did a couple days later to play Lion, but anyway. So as you can see, I've been playing it on Retrofab. Even if they were to re-release this, like they did with Ball, I'd first ask, why would you re-release that instead of one of the good ones? Then proceed to buy it anyway so I could say I own it. Then grimace at it every time I walk past in my home as it collects dust and I feel shame for having bought it, but you know, I can't keep myself from buying it because like, it's not like they release a new Game & Watch every day. Anyway, you're not missing out. And that brings us to the end of the Silver Series. A wonderful series full of oddities and innovation. I had fun trying these out, and I'd really like to see Nintendo re-release a Game & Watch that had all of these on it. It'd be fine if the reproduction wasn't an LCD one. I would like it if they remade all of these on LCDs, but for them all to be on one device, they can't be LCD because of, you know, character limits and stuff like that. It would look pretty terrible if they tried. They probably couldn't even put more than one on there because of the LCD limitations. So I would be happy if they just did a screened version that's like the Mario one, but with all of the Game & Watch games on it. Maybe that'll happen in 5 years for the 50th anniversary, who knows? Maybe we'll get another 35th anniversary edition next year for Metroid. Who knows? The world is full of surprises and good games can come from anywhere. Even a calculator.